Hello and welcome, everyone. Very happy to have each of you here. And thank you. Several of you submitted questions ahead of time, so I think we'll do a good job of addressing those. A few things were a little bit outside the scope, and I'm happy to have an individual conversation with you about that so we can touch base there. I will say, everyone that signed up, you're here. We do have something for you at the end of the conversation. To give you an idea of where we're going, the agenda today is to define coaching and then the journey to becoming a coach. We will talk about coaching statistics and insights, give you a sense of what's going on in the profession. We will walk you through the Center for Coaching Certification Staircase to Success coaching model. It's really a great way for understanding how a coaching relationship is built. And then we'll also talk about the coaching process, kind of a generic, this is what it looks like, knowing that it is flex to every individual client. We'll move into the pros and cons of certification because as much as I want to say, oh, it's all pros, I get it. There are a couple of cons, really the main barriers for people. So we'll address that. We'll talk about the reasons people choose certification at the Center for Coaching Certification. We'll cover what to look for in a training program. And of course, we want you to join ours at the same time. We realize you literally have thousands of options. So, what's important to know about the program? We'll talk about opportunities for you as a coach. And then, of course, give you a good overview of the Center for Coaching Certification programs. Diving in, and by the way, let me make sure I'm doing this. I'm opening the chat box and also have the question panel. So feel free to just send a message to me anytime throughout this conversation. This is about you getting the information you want, getting your questions answered, and I'm happy to respond to them as we go. All right, the definition of coaching. This comes from the International Coaching Federation, which is where a lot of the questions were. How does that work? What does it take? So we're definitely going to cover that for you. The definition itself to me is a lot of fun. It's really indicative of what coaching is and how it's so engaging. First off, it defines it as partnering. This is different because we think about hiring a professional, whether it's somebody in accounting or it's a therapist or it's an attorney or whatever. We think of them as the expert. They are the ones who know what to do and how to do it and have the direction, etc. Coaching is very different in that regard. It's a true partnership. The coach brings the process, and the client is the one who ultimately finds their own answers and makes their own choices on what they want to do and where they want to go. That in and of itself is amazing in terms of outcomes. And it's the reason coaching is so powerful and effective. The definition goes on to say that it is a thought-provoking and creative process. Super fun, super engaging, and absolutely amazing what comes out of it. It inspires clients to recognize and maximize their own personal and professional potential, which is amazing. Uh, Oftentimes, when people come to coaching, that's what they love doing, is really supporting people maximizing their own potential. So definitely happens. It's part of what it's all about. Let's move into learning more about the International Coaching Federation. This is a big one. They are a nonprofit organization made up of coaching professionals. This is the gold standard in the world of coaching. It's where our code of ethics comes from, and all members are accountable to the code of ethics. Very, very important piece of who we are as professionals. It is also where we have our standards. Number one, they accredit coach training programs. Spoiler alert, that's the number one thing to look for. Whatever you do in terms of coach training, make sure it is accredited by the International Coaching Federation. And I'll show you a really easy way to know that. So look for that. Membership in the International Coaching Federation requires 60 hours of coach training, and they also have standards for credentialing. So, very specific. And this is where so many of the questions were. To become a member of the International Coaching Federation, they require that you have 60 hours of training. To earn the ACC credential, which is the first credential level, in addition to the training hours, they also require that you have 100 hours of experience coaching clients. Now, 25 of those hours can be volunteered, 75 at least must be paid coaching hours. So, important to you in any program you look at that there's support for that. And we definitely have options for you there. They require 10 hours of mentor coaching. Again, very specific parameters around what the mentor coaching is, who the mentor coach is, what happens, etc. Please note that some programs provide that and some do not. It means you pay for this program, then you're like, oh, now I have to go find my own mentor coach, and there's an added expense. So at the Center for Coaching Certification, the good news is all the mentor coaching is included or meets all the requirements, includes the assessment, exam prep, etc. So you're good to go. It's totally included. Uh, at the ACC level, you have to be assessed on one recording of you coaching a client. You'll see at the PCC level, it's on two recordings. There's an exam at each level. And the mentor coaching that we do does include exam prep, so you'll be ready for it. At the PCC level, the difference is 125 hours of training, so more than double in terms of what is required, and 5 times as many hours of experience coaching a client. The mentor coaching is the same requirement in that regard. For the MCC credential, please note you must earn the PCC first. You actually have to hold the PCC for 3 years before you're allowed to continue on to the MCC level. For that reason, we're going to focus on these initial steps. At the Center for Coaching Certification, we offer a program called the Certified Professional Coach, and I'm inserting it over here. It is literally half the hours required for ICF membership. It's actually part of the programs for earning the ACC credential or the PCC credential. And so some people may be curious, well, how come you sell that program by itself? Here's what's important to know. When you are working toward a credential, because you have to log coaching hours, it's important that you start as soon as possible. ICF requires that you start after you start your coach training. In addition to that, you probably want to process a good understanding, etc. The end of that 30-hour program, you will be ready to get started coaching. And as long as you're enrolled to continue your training hours, the 60 hours of training that ICF requires, it means you can be registered to complete or have completed. So if you're registered to continue, you can join ICF, which means you'll be able to say, I'm a certified professional coach from the Center for Coaching Certification, and I'm a member of ICF. It gives you some credibility in the marketplace, letting people know, yeah, I'm not just calling myself a coach, I actually have something to back it up. So it's important to have that certification early on so that you can get started logging hours. The other reason that we allow people to do the first 30 hours of the program is many of you are leaders in the workplace and you're not intending to become a professional coach. You're focused on developing coaching skills as a leader in the workplace because that's expected. So that first 30-hour program is fabulous in terms of what it does for you in that regard. So it's a good option. All right, continuing on. To join ICF as a member, we have our Certified Professional Coach program plus our Certified Master Coach program. And I'll lay these out in a table for you as well. Those two give you the required training hours to join ICF, which is also the required training hours to earn the ACC credential. So then when you add the mentor coaching, that gives you everything a school can provide in terms of requirements. Now, for your part, you complete the training, you log your coaching hours, get up to the 100 hours, and yes, we have support for that. You complete your mentor coaching, during which you'll be assessed on the recording and you'll have exam prep. You apply to ICF for the credential, take the exam, and then you have that ACC credential. For those of you wanting to do the PCC credential, and one of the questions that came in, yeah, is how do I decide which one? Here's what I'll share with you. For the ACC credential, if your intention is more along the line of life coaching, career coaching, you plan on having individuals pay for you directly for your coaching services, commonly the ACC credential gets you there. If you are working in a corporate space, you're working with senior leaders, executives, etc., commonly they expect you to have the PCC credential. As a starting point, many people will do the ACC credential because you can have a credential in 6 to 12 months, depending on how quickly you log the coaching hours, and then continue on to the PCC credential if you're coaching senior leaders, executives, etc. There are many reasons for doing that step by step. Yes, you can enroll in everything at once, and that's fine. And it saves you. There's a package discount that way, or you can do it step by step. So it's your choice. It's intentionally set up to give you flexibility. For the PCC credential, the way we're set up, you take the same certified professional coach, certified master coach. We also have a class called the certified advanced coach. And then we offer electives. And the reason for the electives is you're choosing training based on the type of coaching you want to do. And there are a number of electives that fit really nicely with different types of coaching. And then, of course, the mentor coaching is part of that. So that for the PCC credential, it's a complete package with those. All right. For the MCC, as mentioned, you have to be a PCC for 3 years. So let's focus on those first couple of steps. This diagram is intended to take the same information and just put it on a path to one or the other. So what you see here is that in all cases, you start with that certified professional coach. Then you continue on with the certified master coach. Once you are enrolled and or complete these two programs, then you're eligible to join ICF as a member. If you decide to do the ACC credential, complete the certified professional coach, continue on in the master coach, and get started on your coaching hours. And we'll give you lots of support for how to approach that. You do the master coach class, and you'll also be doing the mentor coaching, which is part of the cohort for completing this credential. In the mentor coaching, you'll record yourself coaching a client, and then we will complete the required assessment for you as part of the program. During the mentor coaching, we will also have exam prep for you. When you complete all of these steps right here, you apply to the ICF for the credential, you'll take the exam, and when you pass it, that's when you have your ACC credential. When you decide after earning your ACC to continue on to your PCC, you'll continue logging your experience. And yes, those first 100 hours count, so just keep going. Then you'll add the next class, the Certified Advanced Coach. You will then be choosing from different electives. Some we offer, some are with other schools we collaborate with. And the intention there is they don't do coach training, but they offer programs that are specialized for coaches. So it works really, really well. The mentor coaching. So here's your option. If you do the mentor coaching while you're earning the ACC credential and you know you're going to continue on to the PCC credential, tell us, because what we'll do is make sure you get both recordings done during the mentor coaching so that you don't have to repeat it. Alternatively, if you know you're going straight to the PCC, yes, the mentor coaching is part of this. And of course, you're doing your recordings. We're assessing those recordings. We also are going to do the exam prep for the PCC, which is a different exam. When you complete all these initial steps here, you'll apply to ICF for the credential. They'll invite you to take the exam. And when you pass it, that's how you earn the PCC credential. hoping that gave you an explanation that makes sense. It's a path, a journey. And bottom line, our job is to help you every step of the way, walk you through it, make sure everything's included for you, and make sure you're on the right track toward what you want in terms of a credential or coach training because you're a leader. Happy to, again, if people have individual questions about that, we can definitely set up a conversation to go into it. If it's a general question, please put it in the chat box. I've got it open, I'm watching it. So we're good. All right. Continuing on. The biggest questions people have, of course, around doing a program like this are time and money, because becoming a professional coach is much like becoming an accountant or a financial planner or becoming an attorney or becoming a doctor. Any field you go into, it takes education, and education requires time and money. What this chart is going to give you is options. So first off, one thing you can do is what we call the a la carte approach. For some people, this is really helpful because you can manage how much you're spending and how much time you're committing to and do it in steps along the way. For example, you can take the certified professional coach program that first 30 hours, complete that, and then decide whether you continue and when you continue. That is an unusual opportunity because most schools are, no, you have to buy the whole program. We're giving you the option of carving out sections so that you can manage time and money as you go. When you decide to continue on, the next class is the Certified Master Coach. When you complete those two programs or register for them, you can join ICF as a member. For the credential, you'll then do the mentor coaching. And do tell us, even if you're earning an ACC credential initially, let us know you want to continue on to the PCC so that we make sure we set you up for that. For those of you who do continue to the PCC, then you have the Certified Advanced Coach program, and you're choosing from the electives. You have to have 25 hours or more, and it's your choice which ones you choose. And we'll show you, you've got lots of different options there. If you decide, okay, I know I want to earn the ACC credential as a minimum, I'm going to do that. Level one is what ICF calls it. The name of our level one program is called the foundational cohort. And there is a cost savings when you bundle the programs that are required for earning the ACC credential. Specifically, you'll save $495 over doing each of the three programs separately. If you want to do the level two program, what happens is you'll save $695 in the programs we offer. And then you will, of course, have some variance depending on the electives you choose. So the total cost, please keep in mind, yeah, we're giving you this number and we're saying plus electives. So it is part of that too. We want to be very clear and upfront on what your total cost is. What this chart does is break down. You can do an a la carte approach where you're taking one class at a time and moving through it if you want to. You also can bundle programs and go for the ACC credential or the PCC credential. So it's up to you, and we're happy to work with you on exploring those options specifically. All right, I'm going to keep us going in the meantime. And we're going to start moving into general information on the profession as a whole. So specifically, it is the second fastest growing profession in the world. First is IT, which is almost an obvious no-brainer. We all know how fast that's growing. I think it's pretty exciting that coaching is second. And that comes from PricewaterhouseCoopers. Forbes magazine put this quote out, and I think it's pretty fascinating because it's pretty strong. It says, "Do you have a coach? If not, you could be limiting your career success." That's important because when you become a coach, it's knowing how important this is to other people. I think that quote is backed up by the research. One of the research studies, and there are others, was done at Amoco. British Petroleum bought them. So they did an evaluation of coaching over a 10-year period of time. I love the longevity of that. And here's what they found: that the people who had a coach had improved performance, increased ratings and potential for advancement, and 50% higher average salary increases. Absolutely phenomenal. And the people who had the coach and experienced those outcomes attributed their results to the coaching that they received. Absolutely powerful and exciting to know that you can support somebody in that way for their own success. Dennison Consulting calls coaching the tool of choice for leaders and emerging leaders. When companies hire a coach, what's behind that? What's their reason? So, this research was done by the Harvard Business Review, and here's what they found. 48% of the time, they want to develop their high potentials or facilitate transition. We see this a lot. We see leaders moving up in the workplace. Organizations contract with us to provide them coaches to support their high potentials, their up and coming leaders, as well as their executives. The 26% is acting as a sounding board. And that's what we see most commonly at the executive level. So, specifically, as an example for you, when you're talking to a CEO, they don't need you to help them figure out what their next action step is. They're way ahead of you on that. What coaching does for them, you're a sounding board. It gives them a place to think out loud. And as coach, you're going to challenge their thinking. You're going to expand their thinking and support them really processing through to their place of making a decision. Now, interestingly enough, 12% of the time coaching addresses a derailing behavior. So people say, oh, then it's a bad thing. No, it's a good thing. Here's what's happening. If a company is going to invest in a coach for an individual, it means they want them to be successful. There might be something that's getting in the way. Well, coaching helps that person address it so that they are successful in the workplace and effective in their career there. Something that came out of this study that many find fascinating is that 76% of the time, personal issues get addressed. People sometimes are surprised by that. I think the number is actually higher, and maybe it has increased over time. Here's the reality. When people go to work, whatever's going on in their world goes to work with them, whether it's childcare issues or relationships or health issues or financial or whatever they're dealing with. When they have a coach and they can address those things, what that does for them is free them up so that they can stay focused on the work that they are doing. And it actually is a value add. Okay, so got that one down. Let's keep going. For an individual, when they engage in coaching, now sometimes your company is providing the coach, sometimes they're paying for the coach themselves. What motivates someone to engage with a coach? They want to establish and achieve goals. That's kind of the obvious one. I think the next two are really significant. Their own self-awareness. Hey, what's going on? What's working? What isn't working? And how come? And closely related with that, their own confidence. Because if you think about it, for many people, the number one thing getting in the way is themselves. And so having a coach that supports their level of confidence is really significant. They want to improve their communication skills, enhance their own emotional intelligence, create a healthy work-life schedule. A lot of people say, oh, don't say balance because there is no such thing. So it's a schedule that's healthy. Advance your own career, the leadership development side of it. That's a big one for people in coaching. Problem solving skills, decision making, and increasing their resilience and adaptability. It's a crazy world right now, and that's important to them. Fortune magazine said business coaching, and I get this is a very US centric quote. We have people here from all over the world. Uh, and so, yes, in the United States, there's a huge focus on the bottom line. So, this quote says business coaching is attracting the CEOs because it works. Specifically, the average return on investment of coaching is 600%. I don't know of anything that you can invest in and get a 600% return. That's pretty phenomenal. It actually begs the question, why doesn't everyone have a coach? Because it makes that much of a difference. Bottom line impact. All right. One of the studies, probably Fortune magazine looked at this one. There are a lot of them. This one's commonly cited. Metrics Global. They found coaching had a 529% ROI. And when you added in the additional benefits from employee retention, that ROI jumped to 788%, which is phenomenal. A totally different look at it. A go-to in the corporate world is training. Training can increase productivity 22.4%. Oh, that's pretty good. Well, here's something amazing. When you add coaching with that training, you get an 88% productivity gain. It's like, wait a minute, how is this even possible? Four times the impact. The reality is, think about it this way. In training, we're basically telling people this is what to do, this is how to do it, etc. They get excited, they love the information, and then they go back to their workplace and they're right back in the routine and everything else, and all the training gets forgotten and falls aside. When you have coaching, what's happening is the coach is saying, hey, what did you learn? How are you using what you learned? How's that working? What do you want to flex? What do you want to keep doing? What else do you want to add in? And it's the ongoing application of the information wherein the individual has ownership of that. That's where you get that kind of a difference in productivity. Xerox Corporation, I think their study is along a similar vein here. They said if you don't do follow-up coaching, 87% of the skills change you gained from doing training ends up getting lost. So, very, very important. It doesn't make sense to invest in training without follow-up coaching. All right. In terms of choosing a coach, how does somebody decide? The top two reasons they have are experience in a similar setting. They want to know you understand their world, and they want a clear methodology. In terms of experience in a similar setting, you already bring that to the table. You have the experience you have. I don't care what training program you go to, you're not going to get it somewhere else because the experience is already on your resume. In terms of the clear methodology, that's what you want to gain from a coach training program. So let's dig into how that works. This staircase to success model is based on the competencies of a coach, which come from the International Coaching Federation. And it helps understand the natural progression in building a coaching relationship. We're comparing it to building a staircase. So if you build a staircase, what's the first thing you do? Well, you got to get the framework in place. You got to have a place to put those steps. So you build your framework. Well, in coaching, as with any profession, you also have to have a framework. So the framework is your training, your education to do the work. And encompassed in there, you're developing your competencies for the work you're going to do, and you're learning the ethics. The great news about coaching is most people that come to coaching come with a sense of ethics, believing in ethics, using ethics, etc. So what's really fun in coaching is there are some significant differences in the code of ethics that make it really, really amazing and powerful. So you'll love that part of it. All right, once you have your framework in place, now you can start adding steps. In a coaching relationship, the first step is an agreement. You start out by having a conversation with people what coaching is and isn't. Then you move into a formal agreement for a coaching engagement. And then every time you have a coaching session, there's an agreement about what the client wants to accomplish, what they want to talk about to get there, their desired outcome and agenda for the session. With that in place, it is incumbent on the coach to understand the client. And this comes in a couple of ways. Understand who they are. How do they think? How do they process? How do they function? What's their context? What's their culture? Because all of that plays into the way they think and the way they're making choices, which is important in a coaching conversation. It is also incumbent on the coach to understand what the client wants to get out of coaching so that you're supporting that effectively. Taking the time to really understand the client and serve them is powerful in terms of creating rapport. So you've got to have that foundation, that framework in place, the agreement, take the time to understand them, and you develop rapport, which means the client learns that they can trust you, which means they can be open and, yeah, vulnerable in having these coaching conversations. The rapport supports the communication. It means you're truly listening, and listening and coaching goes way beyond normal, typical listening. So that deep level of listening, it means you're aware of how you say what you say, and of course, the questions you ask. Coaching questions are completely different than any other type of question, so it's absolutely powerful. With that effective communication and those questions, you're supporting exploration. The client is exploring what are their opportunities? What are their possibilities? What do they want? What are their resources? What are their potential barriers? And through all of that exploration, they are actually developing their own strategy. How are they going to move forward toward what they want? And them developing their strategy supports them reaching that doorway to success. And the client is the one who has defined that success. That gives you a sense of the relationship. Now let's talk about the process itself. What does this look like? Please note the process flexes to the client constantly. This is a very generic overview of a process, and you will find you want to adjust it to the client, what's going to serve them well. So, pretty normal, typical. First off, a lot of coaches, and this is a good best practice, will offer what we call a free introductory session. 20, 30 minutes gives the client a mini session, a chance to experience what coaching is like, what you're like as a coach, for the two of you to get to know each other and decide, hey, is this going to be an effective relationship and serve the client well? So that's your introductory session. When you decide, yes, this is a good match, it's going to serve the client, you move forward into creating that coaching agreement, and then you have an intake process. And there are a lot of different ways to do that. This is the secret sauce at the Center for Coaching Certification. So we do an opening session that is absolutely amazing in terms of helping the client really know their own goals and priorities and where they have competing or conflicting priorities, which sets them up for being clear on where they want to go. It also sets up the framework that you as coach are creating with them to support their follow through and their confidence for moving forward. On an ongoing basis, the client sets the focus, the coach supports the exploration with the process, and the coach supports the client strategizing and developing their action plan. Of course, you are taking time to notice and acknowledge progress and success along the way because it serves that ongoing motivation. The average coaching relationship will last 12 months. And here's what we know. Yeah, it could be longer, it can be shorter, whatever. A lot of people will come back. So, a couple of things when you get to the point of wrapping up the engagement, whether it's because, hey, that's what the client could afford in terms of number of sessions or what the company committed to or whatever it is. As coach, you want to make sure you're setting the client up for the long term. Yeah, in a way, working yourself out of a job. You're supporting them in terms of how they will continue on and be successful after they complete the coach training or the coaching, because you want them to continue to maintain and build on the progress they've had. And in a closing session, when you're complete, yeah, you're looking at what they gained, reviewing their plan moving forward, and you're also letting them know when coaching serves them again, they are welcome to come back. And you will find your clients do come back months later, years later, whatever it is for them. Okay, pros and cons of certification. Now we're really boiling down to what you're here for, looking at training programs, etc. So, first off, the overwhelming majority of coaches agree that their clients expect them to be certified or credentialed. What's interesting is that years ago, people didn't even know Oh, I have to ask that. Now they know they have to ask that. So more and more often that's coming up. It also shares the research, by the way, being done by the International Coaching Federation that increasingly coaches also know this, and the number of coaches who have a certification or a credential continues growing. So, for example, in 2022, it was 85%. Compare that to 74% in 2019 and 69% in 2015. You can see how it's increasing over time, where people that say, oh, yeah, I'm a coach, more and more often know certification and a credential matter. 85% of coaches who people putting themselves out there as a coach now have a certification, and 99% of their clients are satisfied with their coaching experience. That's important to know. That's very powerful. Really boiling it down, here's the reality. On the con side of it, it's about time and money. If it weren't for the time commitment and the money commitment, it's a no-brainer. Everybody would do coach training because it's so incredibly valuable, whatever you do. On the pro side, it's definitely a career advancement opportunity. Anyone in any kind of leadership role is expected to develop coaching skills. There are a lot of careers that request coach training or even require it, depending on what the role is. It is also, of course, a big pro in terms of developing coaching as a business. Some people are looking at part-time, some people are looking at full-time, some people are looking at this as an add-on for other work they're doing. Some people look at it as an after career. So whatever it is, it makes sense in that regard. All right. In terms of your options, this is where you have tons. So there are 940 schools accredited to offer level one for the ACC credential, 684 schools that do level two. We offer both level one and level two. Level three is when you're going to go for the MCC credential. There are also coaching education programs. We have some of those as well. And then for people interested in doing team coaching, after you earn a credential, you can also get a team coaching credential. The reason people choose coach training at the Center for Coaching Certification, here's what they tell us. Number one, credibility is a big factor. And we will show you what to look for to know if an organization is credible. Because there are a lot of schools out there. Some of them are great, and some of them aren't going to give you what you want. So, how do you figure that out on the front end? We'll talk about tools at the Center for Coaching Certification. It is amazing how much you receive after you graduate. And no extra charge. It's just given to you. And it's a true benefit because it supports your ongoing success. The ongoing support we offer, for example, we do Q&A calls. There's all kinds of things available to you to support you after you complete training. We have an online discussion group of graduates. We work with people in terms of helping you get coaching. We have a lot in terms of supporting you setting up your business. So there's so much available to you. We also offer professional development. So, for example, if you have a professional designation, whether it's HR, accounting, law, medical, whatever it is, we are an accredited CEU provider, which means we have people from all different professions use this training as continuing ed to maintain other designations. Bang for your buck on that one. Personal development opportunity is phenomenal. It's a life-changing experience, what you gain, and developing the skills you develop in coach training help you in every area of your life. We also provide you an assessment dashboard. So those of you doing coaching or working in organizations, you'll be able to give a multitude of assessments at wholesale, which is a phenomenal tool in this space. Okay, what to look for in a training program. The number one thing, the two logos you see on your screen where it says level one, level two. Any website you go to, you want to see those. And if you don't see those, be careful because you have a lot of choices 894 different schools have the level one. 659 have the level two. Some of us have both, so we're counted twice in there. You do have a lot of choices. Look for the level one and the level two logo. That is essential. I say that, we've had people call and just be so upset because they didn't know to look for that. And they felt like, oh my gosh, now I have to start over so that I can get that ICF. And yeah, look for it up front. Save yourself that. All right. Another thing to look for, and this is unusual. I don't know of any other coach training programs that are also accredited by the International Association for Continuing Education and Training. The reason that's significant is number one, that accreditation, you're talking ANSI standards. It's super, super rigid. And oh my gosh, the work that goes into that, because it's all about how training is designed, delivered consistently and constantly being improved, measured, etc. It means that somebody who has a designation, for example, from the Society for Human Resource Management or HRCI, yeah, our credit hours count toward renewing that designation. If you're part of ATD, we've had counselors, social workers, therapists, psychiatrists, and psychologists use our program as continuing ed. I've had attorneys use it. I've had financial planners use it. People from all walks of life that are maintaining other designations. It's also incredibly valuable if you're in the workplace and you're asking your organization to support your coach training. They commonly care about whether or not it's a CEU program. And if you happen to be pursuing a degree or advanced degree, many colleges and universities accept these credit hours because of that. So, very exciting, definitely an added value for you. Other things to think about who's in the program. So, for example, at the Center for Coaching Certification, we have participants from the Association for Talent Development, the Society for Human Resource Management, Human Resource Certification Institute, Financial Planners Association, National Small Business Administration, Association of Image Consultants International, International Coaching Federation, because of course they understand that accreditation. IASET, people understand the continuing ed value of that. We see a lot of mental health professionals, consultants, project managers. We see lawyers, medical and health professionals. Ultimately, the people that come to this program truly have a passion for empowering others. What that does for you is when you're in a class, you'll be in a class with people from all over the place, people that are educated, that are experienced. And so there are very rich conversations and discussions as you go. The core competencies, whatever program, you want to make sure you're learning these. This is essential. Our program is designed around these competencies. In the area of foundation, we have demonstrates ethical practice. I'm a little bit of an ethics nerd, and I'll say we just make it fun. We have a good time with it while really helping you gain that sense of ethics and what counts. Embodies a coaching mindset. Interestingly enough, that people, okay, what does that mean? Bottom line, here's what it is. We're so used to professionally having our value determined by knowing the answer and giving the answer. In coaching, our value is determined by our ability to truly listen and to ask powerful questions. And the coaching mindset is that we know the client really is their own best expert, and they do have those answers within, and the coaching process helps them get there. Then, in terms of co-creating the relationship with the client, you're establishing and maintaining the agreement with them. We talked about that in that model. Cultivating trust and safety. That's that rapport that is the number one indicator of success in coaching. And maintaining presence. It's so easy for people to be distracted and thinking about other things. Oh, I got to get groceries on the way home, or I got to take care of this, that, or the whatever it is. Truly staying present and in the moment with your client. Then we have communicating effectively. Listening actively. So most people say, "Oh, yeah, I'm a pretty good listener." And if you ask them, they say, "Oh, no, I don't think other people listen so well." So there's definitely a disconnect or a gap there. In coaching, we take listening next level. Not only what they're saying, we're also listening for what they're not saying. We're listening to the energy behind it. We're listening to hear their shifts, any conflicting information, or maybe they say separate things that are connected and they hadn't made that connection. Definitely taking it way above and beyond. And we evoke awareness. That's for those powerful coaching questions and that deep level of listening. And we facilitate their growth, supporting them, developing their strategies and figuring out what they're doing, how they're moving forward. Who benefits from coaching certification? Everybody. Leaders, trainers, educators, consultants, managers, human resource professionals, project managers, service providers, business owners. I'm a better mother and grandmother and friend and family member because of learning coaching. In terms of career opportunities, 86% of employees think their bosses are uninspiring. What does that tell you? That's the reason for this Harvard quote. They say coaching is integral to the fabric of a learning culture, which is desirable in an organization. And they go on to say, very specifically, it's a skill that good managers at all levels need to develop and deploy. In terms of on a personal level, the communication skills that you develop and advance and elevate and upgrade are phenomenal. The listening, the clear, direct, respectful language, the questioning, the people skills. An amazing tool comes out of this program for recognizing, okay, what is somebody else's personal style and how do I flex to them based on who they are? And goal setting. It's very interesting. The way you set a goal impacts actually achieving that goal. So the process that truly supports the work that it takes to create that change and follow through and achieve. In terms of business opportunities, I'm giving you US numbers. And again, I realize people are all over the place. So, yes, it's different in different parts of the world. Most of the time, you can equate this to translating the dollar to what money is for you. If it's really radically different, think about what you pay for a counselor or therapist. That's a low end on here. And on the high end, a super high level consultant. That'll start to give you a sense. The median rate is 500 an hour and the average is 244. All right. It is projected that by 2027, next year, 125.1 billion US dollars will be spent on coaching. As of 2025, so we're in 26 now, so we're giving you 25 numbers. ICF had 59,646 member coaches, of which 29,115 held the ACC credential, 26,789 held the PCC credential. And you can see fewer than 3,000 of us with the MCC credential. So really the focus is on those first two credential levels. There are now 979 with the team coaching credential. It's a fairly new credential. This gives you a sense of the significance of the different credentials. It is, as a business, an add-on service. It's a part-time business. It's a full-time business. The programs themselves, the Certified Professional Coach Program, as with all of our classes, we start with online classes. That is because you will have people from all over the place. So we are in Zoom. When you're in class, you will be on camera, on microphone, because it's an ongoing discussion, Q&A, etc. So very, very important to plan for that. It's just like being in a classroom. You're live, you're participating. The first class about coaching talks about what coaching is and isn't because there's so many common misunderstandings and does a great job of overviewing the competencies, sets you up for what's really important in the coming program. The second class is on ethics. I actually think it's really fun. We talk about different scenarios, what ifs. Hey, if this comes up, how do you handle that, etc. So really good class there. For understanding your client, definitely come with your sense of humor. We're talking about people. We all have strengths, we all have weaknesses. How do you recognize, hey, who is this person? What works for them in terms of how to engage and interact? What's happening for them in terms of how they're thinking, etc. So it's an incredible tool that helps you work with that person effectively. Then the communication class, absolutely amazing. You'll learn specific techniques that you can use to truly elevate your listening, to upgrade the language you use, how you say what you say, and so that you ask powerful, amazing coaching questions. In focus and motivation, very content heavy, we're looking at how the client is processing information and how they're communicating because it's all related. And then how do you work with that based on who they are? We dig into language patterns. The way they say something is indicative of something else. We also dig into thought patterns. How are they thinking about this, approaching this, so that you can ask questions and expand thinking and challenge thinking? Then, with each of these classes, you do have a homework assignment that you're doing separately. For the first couple classes, it's additional reading. For the next three classes, you're actually going to practice techniques in your day-to-day conversation and write about what happens. Then there's a group session. Great Q&A time prep for the coaching practicum where you'll be practicing coaching. You have the opportunity to come with whatever you want to talk about, review, etc. For the practicum, you will be partnered with other people in the class. You'll have someone that you coach, someone's going to coach you. You'll have someone that you observe coaching. So valuable to have all three roles. And then at the end of the practicum, there's a case study. We'll walk you through it flat out. Here's where the answer is or what it is. You've got it. It's a great review of the program itself. After you graduate, you'll have access to a Q&A call every month, recordings on the business of coaching, marketing your coaching, coaching sessions themselves, and a ton of other additional resources. For the Certified Master Coach program, we're going to deepen what you learn in the professional coach class. And it really helps everything click into place and make sense. We do start with group and team coaching because part of the program is you'll actually be doing group coaching, an incredible value add. It's so interesting because initially people say, yeah, I'm never going to do group coaching. And then when they do this class, I'm totally adding group coaching. It's incredibly valuable. So we talk about what it is, how it works, and set that up. Then we move into these different areas of competencies and we get really specific. What don't you want to be doing? What do you want to be doing to really be applying the coaching competencies and supporting your client effectively? We also do a session on time and money because just as with looking at coach training, these are the biggest barriers. They are factors in so many decisions clients make. You'll also talk about other influencing factors. Each of these classes has a pre-work and homework. So basically, your homework is split in half, some before, some after. For those of you in adult learning, you know how powerful that is. For the coaching practicum, the group coaching is part of it. You will have a chance to coach the group. You will also experience being part of the group when the others coach. And then you'll have individual coaching. The format for the individual coaching is different in each class that you take, and that's intentional because there are many different processes for doing it. So you'll experience that. There's a final debrief at the end and a final report. The Certified Advanced Coach program really goes next level. So we start with looking at your competencies and then additional strength areas, which are nuanced to the type of coaching you're doing. Think about it this way. When you go to college, you start out getting all your basics and then you move into declaring your major. This is incredibly helpful in that regard, helping you hone in and focus on that. Then the next class, depending on the type of coaching, how you engage your client does vary. Understanding them. We dig into the coaching relationship, with, again, varies depending on the type of coaching you're doing. We'll talk client priority management. We'll get into discussing the client's future and how you're setting them up. And by the way, in all of these classes, there's just great tools for you and really helpful information in terms of understanding how you function with your client. The last class is on challenges and trends for you as coach. So you'll have a chance to talk about different things. For example, how's AI playing into it, etc. There are reading assignments at this level that we provide all the materials for that, and then homework assignments after classes. The coaching practicum will again include the group coaching. The format for the individual coaching will again be different. You'll have a debrief and a final report. For the electives, to give you an idea, you're choosing based on your type of coaching. So you can get into career intelligence, cultural humility, perceptual intelligence, which is fabulous, by the way, on the executive coaching level. There's assessment certifications you can do. For those of you who want to specialize in particular areas, a couple of examples are ADHD parent coach or adoption coach. So there are things for all different types of coaching, and you'll choose the electives that fit with what you want to do. Then, yes, I got a message. I see somebody joined. Uh, so the timing that you had, it actually started at 3 on Eastern time. What I will say is afterwards, I'm going to give you a link to the recording of the program. I'm also going to give you a link to my calendar. So you'll be able to schedule a one-on-one time. You'll have both of those available to you. So yeah, I'm sorry the time was off for you, but that's okay. We'll get you there. All right, for the mentor coaching, there are 5 90-minute group sessions that you'll do. You're talking about the competencies, how you apply them as a coach. You'll have 3 individual sessions. During that, we have a proprietary 360 of your coaching competencies, incredibly helpful for understanding where you're hitting and where to adjust. We also support you with that review of your recordings, completing the required ICF assessment, and discuss that. How are you applying your coaching competencies vis-a-vis the markers, which are the specific behaviors that get evaluated? Include it with the program for each and every one of you. All of the class materials, everything's included. The coach login, after you graduate, we give you a login on our website with tons of resources. The assessment dashboard, anyone who wants to have an individual conversation, I love showing that off because it's an incredible resource to help you as coach. We also support you with different opportunities. You can guest blog, guest present a program. You can get published. We put out a book series with chapters written by graduates. You can be a guest on the podcast. We have an online searchable directory of coaches that you can list yourself in. And we also have a coaching firm where we contract with organizations to provide coaches, and that's creating opportunities for you. So, what's next at this point? First off, I promised something for you. Here you go, a 30-minute session. I'm going to take this recording and put it on YouTube. I'm going to send everybody who registered a link to the recording. When you get that email with that link, if you want a 30-minute session, just respond. Tell me you want it, and I'll send you a link to my calendar and you can schedule that time. The application, filling it out itself is free. It's a really great way to say, okay, here's my requirements. Here's information about me. We really appreciate the opportunity to get to know you as you come into the program. And it also has you thinking on paper, if you will, here's what's important to me in a coach program, in becoming a coach. When you know which class you want, the way to hold your place in that class, you do the application and you do the registration payment. That reserves your spot so that you're all set. I do want to say thank you everybody for being here. I very much appreciate your time and participation. As promised, I'm going to take this recording, I'm going to put it on YouTube, and I will send you a link so that you can access the complete recording. When you get that email, if you want that 30-minute session, just reply and I will send you the link to that 30-minute session. You will be all set. So that will be there for you. So I'll send you the email, you'll have the information, and I hope we have a chance to connect. Just email back and let me know, and we'll schedule that one-on-one session. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I very much appreciate your time, your participation. Look forward to connecting again. Make it a great one.